All right, welcome to Positivity is the Way to Go. She is a singer, songwriter. Welcome my guest today, Jaimee Harris. Long time
Hey.
no see.
Yeah, happy to be back on the show. Thanks for having me again.
Is that like your woman cave? Because that's like a man cave. Is that like a woman cave?
You know what's funny about that? I do have one of those, but it's actually in the garage downstairs and it's Halloween themed year round. I'm a big horror movie fan. And so it has a bunch of like Twin Peaks posters and like, I don't know, light up Pennywise things. So I'm in my partner's office right now just because I'm having some audio issues with my computer. So this is like my
Oh,
partner's
okay.
man cave. And yeah, I do
Oh,
believe in the
okay.
power of the man cave.
Okay. So, what was the most challenging song on the album that you wrote, given the personal subject matter?
Ooh, ever or on a record that I've already released?
On a record you already released.
I would say Boomerang Town, which is the title track of my last record that came out in 2023. I think it's because I had had that idea for that song for a really long time. And it's a song basically about where I grew up and my feelings about it, which have radically changed actually since I've written that song. But that is the situation of so many towns and so many young people in America, what they're faced with. And for me, the idea for that song came because I was very late to Woody Guthrie. So I didn't get into Woody Guthrie until like 10 years ago. And when I got into Woody Guthrie, I went to visit his archives at the Woody Guthrie Center in Tulsa. And I got to see all of the verses of This Land Is Your Land. And the one that really hit me the hardest says, "In the shadow of the steeple, I saw my people. By the relief office, I saw my people. They stood there hungry, and so I stood there asking, was this land made for you and me?" And that hit me because there's a highway that runs right through the center of my hometown. And on the east side of that highway, there's a steeple from a seminary. And on the west side, there are two relief offices. And in 2017, I got asked to sing a verse of This Land Is Your Land in Lukenbach. And when the artist asked me what verse I wanted, I said I wanted the steeple verse. And he said, I always thought Woody got it wrong with that verse, which was shocking to me because, in my opinion, Woody nailed it. Like, that's my hometown. And so the idea for that song really began in 2017. And even though it is like one of the most personal songs to me because it's a song I've really been wanting to write my whole life. But what's funny about it, and this is what I love so much about songwriting, is that the best way to describe my experience was actually to use a narrator that wasn't me. Because I started with me and that didn't work. I started with a waitress, that didn't work. I tried a bunch of different things. And it wasn't till 2021, 22, when I finally landed on the perspective of being a 17-year-old boy that I was able to tell that story. So it's definitely the song that I've worked the hardest on and that has gone through a lot more rewrites than anything I've ever written before. And I'm really proud of that song.
I know you had performed it on my channel. You remember?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it must have been finished in 21. Okay. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure of the
yeah,
timeline. Amazing. Okay, cool. So that must have been new.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got a new look this time around, the glasses and the hat and stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's cold here. I'm getting used to winter.
Where you at? Where you at now?
We're in Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, okay. So you a Titans fan, right?
A Titans fan? I'm not really a sports person. I'm not.
So what do you
I
do in
like
your spare time?
you know what I'm really into? It's very nerdy. Well, a couple of things. I love to ride roller coasters. That is one of my like I will plan tours around getting to like ride different roller coasters that I haven't ridden. And right now I just rewatched a bunch of the Harry Potter movies and I really want to go to Epic Universe and like ride a bunch of the new roller coasters there. Or I'll try to book stuff so I like in Toledo, Ohio, so I can go to Cedar Point. But I also really like to play pinball, and that's really fun. There are a lot of places in Nashville to play pinball, and I think like if I could figure out how to monetize that I might become a professional pinball player. Like that's the sport I'm into. I'm not that great at it. I just really love it. But that's what I love to watch horror movies. Like I'm always watching horror movies.
Yeah, it ain't no deal breaker if I'm not a horror movie guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm the least horror film guy around. I like animation domination and stuff.
Yeah.
I like short stuff. I don't like long movies and stuff. It'd
Yeah.
be too long. I can't stay woke that long.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, that's
So
my partner. Like she's not into it at all.
let's get into Mary Guthier, your partner and mentor. He often says if you want to talk about drama of war, you can't talk about the war. You have to tell the story from behind one's soldier eyes. What does that mean to you?
I've learned so much from that. I think that's really true. I think it's really hard to understand numbers, to understand things that are really really big. And so I think especially what's going on politically right now in this country and all over the world. I mean, there's a lot of political turmoil all over the world that a lot of songwriters that we work with, we teach songwriting together quite a bit, really want to write something to like encapsulate what's happening. And that's really challenging. So, like for example, with Boomerang Town, I wanted to talk about like the issue of, how wealth is distributed in this country, the issue of, the failing of the public education system in this country, which has been orchestrated, and, that people don't have a lot of options. But those are big things to talk about. And even, well, I won't get into that, but like so many things have changed actually since I wrote that song that give it more power than it did when I wrote it in 2021. But I can't, the best way for me to sing about all of those things is not from like an on high big perspective, was to tell a story from one person's perspective. And I also think there's this desire to write songs to change the world, which I do believe songs can change the world. And the songs that are unsuccessful, in my opinion, are preachy. And so the idea is not to be preachy, because you can argue with someone's belief. You can't argue with someone's experience. So if you tell a story, if I as a songwriter write a song from behind the eyes of one soldier, one person, then that is actually what gives the vehicle for empathy to happen. And that's what changes the world. Because a story told from behind the eyes of one person generates empathy. It allows the listeners to like get in the shoes of the person who's talking. That's why fiction works so well at pointing to the truth.
Yeah, so well said, because when I heard that quote, I'm like, man, I never even knew Jamie wrote that quote before. I had to
Well,
go
that
in the
was Mary.
archives.
Yeah, that was Mary.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
yeah, but she spent 10
So how
years
does this
writing with
quote,
veterans. Yeah.
yeah, so what did y'all meet?
We actually met at a songwriting workshop in Taos, New Mexico. And my mentor, Jimmy Lefebvre, had just passed away a few months before. And I was in the middle of making a record, and I was like really lost and still dealing with a tremendous amount of grief. And the workshop was taught by Gretchen Peters, who wrote Independence Day for Martina McBride, Eliza Gilkison, who's an incredible singer-songwriter, and Mary. And they all just stayed in touch with me as like mentors, trying to help me through this process. And about 9 months into that, I was like, oh no, I think I'm in love with Mary Gaucher. And I was like, I can't be in love with Mary Gaucher. That's insane. But it worked out.
Well said. So how does this approach influence your own narrative style, particularly when writing about a complex social or personal issues?
I mean, Mary's taught me so much about that, but I really do think the idea of writing from behind the eyes of a narrator, that honestly, like, I think this happens as songwriters grow. I think it's like a lot of songwriters get into this art form because we're usually outcasts. We're usually like misunderstood. There's something going on with us personally where we feel like we can't connect with our speaking words. And so we're able to more powerfully connect with song and like help make sense of our own experience. And so I think when a lot of songwriters start out, we start writing from our experience, like very raw, very much filtered. I mean, of course, everything I write is going to be filtered through my experience, but where I am the narrator. And I think as like we move through the art form, and also like the turmoil I had in my life when I was in my early 20s and my teens, like I don't have that type of turmoil in my life anymore, so I'm not writing from that place. But there's so much turmoil in the world. There's so many things to write about that I don't have to be the narrator. And I think that's really liberating, to embody the experience of somebody else to tell a story. And that's one of the most powerful things I've learned from Mary.
Well said, because I know about your story and stuff. Like years ago, when I first had you on, you somebody when you got incarcerated, and where you at now and everything.
Yeah, it's I know it's crazy. I've been sober almost 12. If I make it to February 8th, it'll be 12 years, which is incredible.
Well, that's amazing. That's good. So so you are the king of war, being with your lyrics. Sometimes you spending a lot of time on a single word. I know that about your style and everything. And can you give an example of a word change that significantly alter the meaning of or a feeling of a song that you did? Because I know you love like those little word liners and stuff. You get stuck on one word. It's like in a paragraph. You get stuck on the words like, how does this fit in this sentence and everything? But
Yeah.
you tie that to your song though.
I'm trying to think of so many. I mean, that's my experience like pretty much with every song I write. I'm trying to think of a specific example. One isn't coming to mind right now. I think like I'm thinking about the song that I've labored over the most recently, which is a song written from behind the eyes of a man who died in the Pulse nightclub shooting. And like that situation wasn't even one word. It took me like there's a recording of it, there's a video of it, and I have since rewritten it since that video has been made. Like I've moved the verses around. So I can't right now think of one word, even though I know one word does change like the entire meaning of a song. But I've mostly labored recently over the order of verses.
So what's the word of the day for you? You got a word of the day today, Jamie?
Gratitude.
Right.
I do. I just got to spend like we just did Christmas early with my family, and it was really like beautiful, and as was represented on my Boomerang Town album, like I had a lot of complicated feelings about where I grew up, but there's been like an amazing revitalization of my hometown. Like a lot of buildings that have sat empty for a really long time are being taken over and made into hotels, restaurants, coffee shops. So there's like this new sense of community and vitality there that's really encouraging to me. And I'm really grateful that I've been able to been able to spend time with my family and to also like experience this new feeling about this town that I have such complicated feelings about. Like, there's a new record store downtown in Waco. Like, there was no independent record store, no independent radio where I grew up. And so that had me like running to Austin to go to Waterloo Records to like buy my copies of No Depression and to like get my new Patty Griffin record the day it came out. Like, those are like pilgrimages that I made to Austin. But now, like, I went to this new record store in downtown Waco and I got a really cool Waterboys record. I got an Emmylou Harris record I actually didn't have, and a Bob Dylan reissue of Free Willing that has like 4 new songs on it. That's a record store day release that like I haven't seen in any record stores. Like, it's all been sold out. I'm like, yes, score. So I just feel like really grateful, especially like when I really think about the fact that I was literally like 12 years ago sitting in a jail cell, like wanting to die. And now I have like freedom to move about the country. I have freedom. I've been able to sing with my heroes. Like, pretty much all of my dreams have come true, except for meeting Mavis Staples, which I'm really trying to make happen in January. So yeah, gratitude is the word of the day for me.
Well, yes, another thing you need to put on your bucket list, meeting me in person in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta have,
I need to do that. And Chicago is a huge, I mean, that is like the birthplace of pinball. So I usually when we come to Chicago, like we're in and out, and like, and I'm like, no, I need to go like tour the Stern factory and like have a pinball time in Chicago.
Yeah, we gotta hang out and stuff, you
We gotta
know.
hang, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you don't want making more money than me though, Jamie. So
Well, I don't know.
you
It is folk
for it.
music, so the margins are slim. But
Well, you making more than me right now. I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to get. Well, I'm struggling right now, you
I'm
know.
sorry to hear that. It's a hard time. Like things are hard. Like what's about to happen with insurance, like everything. Like we spent a month in
Yeah,
Europe, and sorry, go ahead.
the job market sucks. I never seen the job market this bad.
It's bad. And like we were just in the UK for a month, and like I like to go to the grocery store. Like I really like to eat pretty healthy on the road when I can. Even though I ate 2 donuts for breakfast this morning, but I like to eat healthy on the road.
That's
But
not help.
I know that's
It's okay. It's okay. We can cheat sometimes, you know.
right. I know. I've
It's
been
like a
like
cheat
thinking about
thing, you
donuts
know.
for so many days. I was like, okay, this is like the fifth day in a row of waking up thinking about donuts. Like I'm giving in. I'm having a donut. But
You were already having dreams about the donut. That's
oh, I
come
was,
on, you know.
I totally was. But like when the first time like we came home and we went to the grocery store, it's like 80% more expensive in America to buy groceries. And it was like a shock to me. Like, oh my God, things are so expensive right now. Like, this is torturous. So I feel it's hard. It's a hard time.
Yeah, those prices torturing you. I know, Jamie. See, like eggs, $8. What are you looking? What are you looking at me for?
Dude, $9 for toothpaste? Toothpaste.
Yeah.
That ain't right. That's just not right.
So, you've been called the next Queen of Americana, folk by NPR. That's the National Public Radio, I think. How does that kind of critical acclaim affect your creative process, or do you try to ignore external expectations?
I try to ignore that. It's funny. People use that to like introduce me on stage. Um, and it always makes me nervous because first of all, I feel as long as like Emmylou Harris is alive, like I'm not the queen of anything. I'm not the next. There's nothing like Emmylou is the reigning queen forever and always. Like there's no so. I always get like a little nervous, especially because a lot of times I'm being introduced as an opening act, and I'm like, whoa, that's like crazy. But I don't really think about it too much. I mean, um, it's funny, like I truly can't believe it. Like I have been so incredibly fortunate. Like Emmylou Harris complimented my singing. Uh, Buddy Miller complimented my guitar playing, and Susan Gibson thinks I can write songs. So I'm like, uh, I, I, that's like that should give me enough confidence to like continue for the rest of my life. I never would have imagined that that those people who are so great at what they do would have any type of affection for what I do. So that to me, like the respect of my peers. I mean, Gretchen Peters has complimented a song I've written. Like that's insane. She's like one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Period. So I don't really think so much about the press, but it is nice to receive compliments from my heroes and people I respect. Who I listen to that have helped me form what I do. To have those people recognize it and go, "Oh, this is cool." Like it just makes me feel like I'm on the right path.
Sorry about that, Jamie. My
All
bad.
good.
It cut out a little bit, but yeah, that's good you met your heroes. Because sometimes they say you don't want to meet your heroes because they may disappoint you.
That's true. Yeah, I've
It's
been
like,
fortunate
man,
that mine have been cool. Mine have been really cool.
yeah. Well, you in like the 0.1% category.
I guess so. I guess so.
So how has sobriety changed your relationship with your art and music community?
Well, I think it's expanded it, if anything. There are a lot of people that are sober that are doing this, that are in the business, as songwriters, as people in bands, as tour managers. And I get to share recovery with a lot of those people, which is really great, especially since we're in a different town every day. Like, we have friends in recovery all over the world, and we get to connect with those people in person. And that's a beautiful community to have because people in recovery show up. They're reliable. That's been my experience, at least. And so it's really beautiful to have that. And of course, like, being in recovery and being an addict has affected everything about my life, which of course influences my writing. Like, a lot of my narrators are outsiders, misunderstood, people that are either in search of or have received like redemption or grace or mercy. I mean, that's a through line in a lot of the art that I make. And that's influenced by my experience of being an addict and needing a second, third, 12th chance, and also getting to experience like the incredible grace of recovery.
Yeah, because Lindsay Lohan, look at her now. She doing movies, but she was in recovery, she was synonymous and everything, But sometimes it could be a bad story like Renner, the music director, his son murdered him and everything,
I know.
and stuff. And he was in and out of rehab 17 times. So sometimes the story could be a good story, outcome, or a bad outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think like like, look at Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, I think she's such a cool example too, and she talks a lot about openly about being in recovery. But I mean, the truth is, like, it's hard to get sober and it's hard to stay sober. And if you can, it's been my experience, like, every day gets better and better. My life is radically improved every single year. It requires me to go deeper. It requires me to be accountable to myself and to other people. But it's hard. I mean, Mary has a song called I Drink. And there was a guy in a meeting that was saying, like, I don't understand how you people do this because all I want to do is drink. And one of the old timers said, well, fish swim, birds fly, drunks drink. You're going against your nature. Your nature is to drink, So that's why we do it together in recovery. But, I wanted to get sober. I was really tired of everything about my life that was connected to addiction, which was everything. So I was at a place when I got sober where I desperately wanted to get sober, and I think that's a huge part of the key. It's hard enough to get sober and stay sober if you want to get sober. If you don't want to get sober, it's damn. I don't want to say anything, but I guess I shouldn't say anything further. But yeah, recovery. I mean, that's why we do it together. We call each other, we help each other. We do it together. We don't do it alone.
So you be going to like those AA meetings, right? Because I go to therapy. I went to like none. Mental health is a big component of that I feel. Like I was on. I'm not trying to get negative at all, but it was a man that set this woman on fire on the Blue Line in Chicago and stuff. And that was all over the news. I think a lot of these people they need mental help. And then fentanyl is a big problem in America right now.
Massive.
That's the and it's like it's a fake drug, and that drug is meant for animals, not for human consumption. And a lot of people don't even understand that at all.
It's crazy. Like, that is the thing, especially since the pandemic, like, because we travel all over the world, like, the increase of homelessness, and you can tell they call it the fentanyl nod if somebody's out on fentanyl.
Yeah.
Like, that is everywhere. And we were shocked to see it even in Canada. I've never seen that in Canada. And we asked a friend of ours who lives there, like, what's going on? He was like, it's fentanyl. It's made its way here and it's destroying people's lives. It's horrific. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta burn that. We gotta burn that up and stuff. That's poison. We don't need that at all. So growing up in a small town in Texas, you often left. You used to left a center. How did you find your community and sense of belonging? Then and now, you expressed the career goal of having employment Uh, oh no, Emmy Lewis Harris. She was one of your biggest influence singing of your songs. If that were to happen, which song would you want to do and why?
Oh, if I had her sing one of my songs, what song would I want her to sing? Was that the
Yes.
question? Ooh.
Yes, and also, how did you find your community in the small town of Texas?
Well,
How
I
did
found
you
my
find like
community.
belonging?
Oh, it was through music. I learned from an early age that like music was, I mean, it helped me to stop getting bullied in elementary school when the three most popular girls in school wanted to play Wide Open Spaces for the talent show, but they couldn't find a karaoke track. And I was getting the shit kicked out of me at the time. And I was like, I know how to play that song on guitar. So playing guitar for the three most popular girls in school like saved my life because they were like, okay, you're in with us, you know? And I was like, oh, I can use this to like not be such an outcast. Although I always feel like an outcast, of course, but like music has always been that. And I got really lucky. There was a place in Waco that kept closing and then reopening in different locations, and now it is permanently closed. But it was called Beatniks. And what was cool about a small town like that was that if you're creative, if you're any type of creative, you ended up at Beatniks. So it wasn't just singer songwriters. It was like there's this really awesome woman that played trumpet and like washboard, and there's like this punk band that was cool that played there. There were slam poets, there were visual artists, there were people in theater. Like we all gravitated towards that place and built community by sharing our art and just being in conversation with each other. And I love that, like being exposed to different types of music and different types of creativity. That's what I think is so cool about like New York City. Of course, like everything is there, but the idea, like, if you're in a cool band and you want to put together like a really badass set piece, you probably have a friend in theater that like knows how to build cool sets. Like that kind of meshing of different art forms I think is really beautiful. And it just like allowed me to express myself and experiment with different sounds too. Like I was in a Pink Floyd tribute band because that was one of the bands I could be in Waco, and I had so much fun and I learned so much by learning that music and being in that band. You know, it was great.
Yeah, and then about Emmylou Harris, like what song would you want to sing with her if you have a duet or a collaboration right now?
Ooh, that's really tough. Well, I right now am very obsessed with this songwriter originally from Scotland, but he lives in Canada now, named David Francie. I think he's a genius. And he has a record that came out in the 90s called Torn Screen Door that's incredible. And there's a song on that record called Torn Screen Door that's an a cappella number about basically like farms dying in Europe, which now applies everywhere, of course. It's as relevant now, if not even more relevant than it was when he wrote it in the 90s. And it's this cool, like, three-part a cappella song. And I think it would be really beautiful if Maura O'Connell and Emmylou Harris and I got to sing that together. That's like my dream. I also just really want Emmylou Harris to hear the song because I think she would love it. So instead of like one of my songs, I think it would have to be that David Francie song.
Well, you going global because I thought you would say somebody from the United States. You global, Jamie. You be in
Yeah.
Canada and everything, you know. You gonna buy houses everywhere. You gonna get a house in New York.
Oh.
And then you gonna put it up on for sale like Michael Jordan and stuff. You know. You gonna put it up for sale like $2 billion. You know.
If I could, you know what? I don't need another house. You know, this is great. This house is paid for. If I could get
Yeah.
Miranda Lambert or anybody to cut one of my songs, I would like to buy a pinball machine for this house. That is how I'm going to use
Okay.
my money. I don't need another place. I just need one pinball machine.
So nice segue to what is a city or venue that you would like to that's on your bucket list to perform in?
Ooh, what's on my bucket list?
Chicago, right?
I
Because you
do
want to
love,
see me, right?
yeah, I do love Chicago. I
And
think,
and and the food is on you, Jamie.
all right.
You go pick up the tab, you know.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think like I've never played. I've never been to Australia, and I would really like to go to Australia. So that's like high on my list, is just somewhere in general I would like to play. And for me, it's okay. I've always wanted, and it's a very different festival than it was when I grew up, but I started writing songs because my dad took me to the first ever Austin City Limits Music Festival. And I got to see Patty Griffin, Buddy Miller, Julie Miller, and Emmylou Harris on the same stage, and it like blew my mind, and I became a songwriter after that. So for me, I would like to be able to play the Austin City Limits Music Festival or have my own Austin City Limits taping because I learned so much about music from watching that show. And even though it leans more pop now, that's still a dream I'm going to hold on to until it comes true.
I think it can come true, you know? Yeah. I mean, you love Texas, right? Do you ever miss Texas or you find where you
Oh,
at?
I miss Texas so much. I really do. I really, really do.
And then you got to hear those Nazi and Cowboys fans all the time. I know you're not in sports, but I know when they Cowboys lose, they like, man, I know you be in the bars and everything. They like the Cowboys suck, you know. How could Dak Prescott throw that pick again, you know?
I know it's been a sad time to be a Cowboys fan for a long time.
Well, they just lost to the Chargers and everything.
Oh, did they?
Well, yeah, they 6-8-1. I mean, come on, you know. Yeah, I don't know what they defense suck. I think they need to fire the defense coordinator, Matt Eberflus. He was the coach of the Bears. They need to get rid of him. I'm calling for his job right now because
Are
they
you a
can't
Bears
stop him.
fan? Is that
Yeah.
your team?
Well, yeah, I root for the Bears, and they winning this year though. But I don't think they're gonna win the Super Bowl though. But I think they can win one playoff game. They gonna win the NFC North this year, in my opinion. They just beat Green Bay, you know.
Oh, yeah,
But
it's
they
tough.
beat a bag of quarterbacks, so that takes brownie points out, you know. But I think win is a win in the NFL with how hard it is to win.
I would say even though I have absolutely no ties at all to anything related to the Green Bay Packers, one of my best friends and my favorite people to collaborate with, his name is Graham Weber, and he is like a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. Like he really is. It's like one of the greatest passions in his life. So I think it would be insulting to Graham if I got even a little bit into sports if I didn't immediately become a Packers fan just in solidarity. Despite like coming from a whole family of Cowboys fans, like I think I would have to be a Packers fan like for Graham. So
Yeah, but you gonna be a Chicago fan when you come to Chicago though. You'll be a Green Bay fan whenever you're in Green Bay, you know.
yeah,
Your
yeah, yeah,
lead
but
your allegiance would be everywhere, whatever city you in, right?
that's true. I will say the organist at Fenway Park played one of my songs on the organ. So I'm a very, very, very loose Red Sox fan.
No Wrigley Field, no the Cubs, no
The
Red
Cubs. I
Sox.
know I do.
The Cubs, the Cubs is the best stadium, Wrigley Field. Forget
It is
Fenway
great.
Park. They
I
can
really
kiss
do love
my
the Cubs.
behind.
I really do love the Cubs. It was really exciting when they won the World Series in 16.
Yeah,
That was such a great moment.
they too cheap right now, man. I don't know why are these organizations so cheap? They don't want to spend any money. It's like, how do you expect to win and put a good product on the field, and you want the tickets holders to buy these things when you're not even good?
Oh my gosh, I feel so guilty about this because I cannot think of the title of this book right now. But I'm reading this book and it's about small town baseball. And I didn't realize that like the MLB, I guess, like they for a long time filtered money down to like AAA baseball teams. And that a lot of that money now they're just like not, especially post pandemic, aren't isn't being given to like local baseball teams. So they're either like taking it upon themselves to keep the team alive by like raising, I don't know exactly how they're doing it. I'm in the middle of this book, but it's a really interesting book about how small town baseball like builds and maintains community, which I think is an interesting thesis. Like that's beautiful.
Only thing I don't like about baseball is you can eat a sandwich in the outfield and the ball ain't gonna get hit your way.
Yeah.
You can like literally be out there on an island, you know. With baseball, they got guaranteed contracts. So for kids out there play baseball or play the NBA, you know, you'll make a lot of money. Don't try to play in the NFL. You ain't gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like a foot soldier, you know. So it's time, and Jamie, for your song you about to play, right?
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to play a song. Yeah.
Yeah, play you one of your newer songs though.
I'm gonna play a new song, yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right, go ahead. This is a performance by Jaimee Harris. Right now, go
Oh
ahead.
man. Give me a second here. I forgot to tune this up before we. I was replacing light switch covers. If I was doing that right.
Okay.
Innocent man gonna die tonight. Hey, we know he didn't do it and we know it ain't right. One man can stop it, and he should, but we know he won't do it even though he could. Where we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back? Where we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back, fight back? Little bitty girl got a little bitty baby growing inside her little bitty belly. Are they gonna make it? Doesn't look good, and the doctor can't help him even though she should. Where are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back? Where are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back, fight back? Men walking around in Memphis in uniforms they got no business wearing, and they ain't got no ID, but they're knocking on doors, say come with me. Where are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back? Where are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back, fight back? The land of greed, machine guns, corporate paid for politicians, thoughts and prayers, welfare lines, every child left behind. When are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back? When are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back? When are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back? When are we gonna take it to the streets, y'all? When are we gonna fight back, fight back?
That's Jaimee Harris right there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on again. You know, let's not do this. Let's make sure it's not 4 more years, you
I
know.
know it. I know it.
I gotta try to have you on a little bit more often, you know. Maybe twice a year.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so you have a good day, and it was a pleasure having you on, and thanks for the performance, you know.
Thank you. Thanks for
And
having me
and do
on
you
again.
want and do you want to tell people where they can find your music at really quick?
Yeah, you can find me at jaimeeharris.com, JAIMEEHARRIS.com. And I'm also in the process of making a new record that I made with John Fulbright and his band. And I'm sharing all the behind the scenes stuff, like new songs and photo shoots and videos from the sessions. And you can find that at patreon.com/JaimeeHarris.